Shalom uvracha. The pasuk in Parashas Shoftim tells us, Tomim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. We have to be tomim, we have to be whole, complete, pure of heart, together with Hashem. According to the Rambam, the idea of tomim tiyeh, of being pure with Hashem, means to follow the ways of rational thought. The Rambam, in the 11th chapter of Hilchos Avodah Zarah, the laws of idolatry, the Rambam explains that the way of the ancient idolaters was to follow all kinds of ways and means that contradicted, that went against simple rational thought. That's why they were attracted to sorcery of all different types, to idolatries and to powers and to astrology and so on. And says the Rambam, all of these are inappropriate for the Jewish people, for Am Yisrael, who are, says the Rambam, Chachamim Mechukamim. We are the wise among the wise. And says the Rambam, the Jewish people who are Tmimei Deim, meaning the Tmimus, the purity, the completion, our perfection is a perfection of mind. And if we are perfect of mind, then it's inappropriate. It doesn't make sense for us to go after all of these means and methods that stray from rational thought. Rather, we should stick to our processes of rational thought, of logic, and through that we are im Hashem Elokecha. By that we cling to Hashem. By clinging to our seichel, says the Rambam, to our rational thought, we cling to the divine image that is within each one of us. And then we're with Hashem. That's how the Rambam Maimonides understands the Psukim. The Ramban, however, argues with the Rambam. And the Ramban says, astrology might not be rational thought, but nevertheless, it remains wisdom. And he says, it remains true. Astrology might be able to predict certain elements within the future. This is in stark contrast with the Rambam, who says, Chash v'shalom, we shouldn't believe in any of this nonsense. Says the Ramban, no, this is wisdom. And nevertheless, it takes us away from Hashem. Somebody who opens the newspaper every day to check his horoscope and is wondering what's going to happen, that distances him from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from his connection with Hashem. And the Torah tells us, Tomim tiyeh, you shall be complete and perfect with Hashem, meaning our completion is our being together in relationship with, in closeness to Hashem, and therefore we are obligated to refrain from anything, any kind of methods, soothsaying, future telling, even if it might be right, it might be true. Nevertheless, if it distances us from Hashem, then it's forbidden. And based on that, the Psukim really continue. And they say that for the non-Jews, for the idolaters, they have their own methods, their koisem ksamim, their sorcery, their witchcraft. But what do we have? We have the word of Hashem. Hashem speaks to us by means of the prophets, by means of Hashem's revelation at Har Sinai, that continues to be with us for generations on. And perhaps that's also the idea of the same word, tomim, being perfect, being complete, that we find in Bris Milah. Hashem tells Avraham Avinu, Hishalech lefanai, go before me, veheyei tomim, and be perfect by means of the bris, of the covenant. Because at the end of the day, our perfection, our completion, is our being with Hashem. According to the Ramban, it's not about the rational thought, like the Rambam says, but rather, says the Ramban, it's just about being loyal, about keeping our fidelity to that closeness, to that relationship. And that's the covenant, remaining within the covenant and doing everything in our power to live by the covenant and not doing things that distance us from that relationship, from that covenant. And even though nowadays, perhaps the temptations of sorcery, of witchcraft, of some of these idolatrous practices are less tempting for us in our day and age, but nevertheless there are so many decisions in our lives. Decisions of which friendships to have, which work to look for, line of work or job placement, which movement to belong to, which political involvement to have. So many questions we have that we need to ask ourselves, is this going to be something that brings us closer to Hashem? Is this something which is going to empower, enhance, to strengthen our relationship, our connection with Hashem? Or is this something, chas v'shalom, that will take us in the opposite direction, that will distance us from Hashem, that will make us forget Hashem? Can godliness reside within this workplace, movement, friendship, whatever it is? Or is this something which is absent of the divine, absent of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then we should distance ourselves from it? And all of that is latent within the instruction of the Pasuk. Tamim tia im Hashem Elokecha. Find your completion with Hashem. Whatever's with Hashem, there you shall find your perfection and your completeness. We should all have a wonderful Shabbos.